All right. Good morning, everyone. I hope everyone's good. Everyone's well in life, wherever you are. Welcome to the show. I'm very excited about today's show. It's going to be a really fun one. Up top, I have to mention the fact let's all behave like human beings, guys. It'll be a nice thing to behave like people and have a nice chat. There will be some nonsense that I will do as well, and I'll be joined shortly by Angad Singh as well as, of course, Michael Vaughan. I hope you guys are excited. Put it in the comments how you guys are feeling and how everybody's feeling as I have echo of my own disgusting voice in the background. Welcome to the show. If you've never seen the show before, the show is called Wake Up with Sorabh, and this is Cricket Premis, where we basically talk to all sorts of interesting people who've achieved way more, either on the cricket field or off the cricket field. As we witnessed before, if you've not seen, you can check out previous episodes with Harsha Bhogle, Joy Bhattacharya, even Hardik Pandya, and Shikhar Dhawan, and all popped in. It was a really fun one. So you can see the previous catalog and find out who you like. Again, like to give a like so that we get more people joining in because that's the way the YouTube algorithms work. So please, thoko the like, as they may say. Give us a like, friends. Final thing, two things I have to mention. Please subscribe to the second channel that I have right here because we're going to be shifting pretty much most of these YouTube lives to that particular channel over the next month or so. We've already done a couple there, so please go out there and subscribe there. I'm also on stage, been having a ball finally getting on stage as a stand-up comedian, which has been fun. Last week we had Delhi, Gurgaon, and Chandigarh, which is great, where we had a lot of drunk people popping in. And this Saturday, which is 2 days from now, I have a show at Habitat in Mumbai where we're doing a recording with Angad Singh, Sonali Thakkar, and Ronak Rajani. Tickets are much cheaper than usual, so please go out there and buy tickets. It's going to be a fun, mixed bag of a show with the varying comedians out there. And then on 4th April, which is next Sunday, I'm in Hyderabad doing two shows, and then Bangalore is happening on 24th April. So yeah, lots of shows, lots of stand-up shows popping in, and it's going to be super fun. Okay, I'm going to bring on my. So, are you guys excited? Come on, put in comments. Put in comments, my friends. Just have to say, I know there's going to be a lot of chatter popping in. So, I would just say that we are going to give preference to super chats. And so, yeah, if you give a super chat, I will try and ask you a question and keep it as normal as possible. Imran Khan says, Ramiz Raja ko lao. Ye karenge bhai, karenge, sab karenge. Shoaib Akhtar bhi aaya waise. Shoaib Akhtar has come before, so you can check out that as well. Cool. I want to bring on my first guest. He's going to be hosting along with me for the entire duration, and then we'll quickly bring on our special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, please give a round of applause. Host of Baby Over, a stand-up comedian of note, and that note is just pure money. Please give it up for Mr. Angad Singh, everyone. Angad, please switch on your camera.
Where is the money, my friend, in stand-up comedy? Where is the money? Show me the money. Please, I'm begging you. Show me some money.
Wow, man. Great acting performance right up top. Nicely done. All right. I have to bring on our main guest of the day. I mean, come on. There's so many great memories. The Ashes 2005. And of course, Indian cricket fans, that ball to Sachin. We have to discuss all of it. Please give a round of applause to Mr. Michael Vaughan, everyone. Michael. Hi, Michael. Hello, Michael.
Morning. This is early.
Oh, yeah. This is really early for you.
I used to wear a hat like that.
That's why I got it.
Yeah, it might be in this room I'm in. Let me see. I don't think it's in here. I have that hat somewhere. The hat that I used to wear. It's somewhere in here. I don't know where it is.
Yeah. What is the preference between wearing this and wearing the cap? What's the like? Is it better vision? What's the logic?
Well, do you know what? I've no idea why I used to wear that, but I think it was just more comfortable.
Yeah.
And when we used to play overseas, it was a bit hot. I wanted to protect the back of my neck. I think I probably won a game with it on. So all cricketers are mad, all superstitious. So I guess I wore it the next game because we won the previous game, and it just went on like that. And then I realised that it became a little bit of a trademark of me. That's what I used to wear. So I couldn't be bothered to change.
But this is what Michael looks like when he's not being paid to talk.
Yeah.
Right. Fresh out of the bed look, basically. For us.
Yeah, rough and ready. Sorry.
But I appreciate you waking up this early in the morning. Like as a comedian, like it's 12:30 in India, and this is early for us. We're still like getting groggy out. So yeah.
Well, what's happening in India? Are you guys allowed out? I mean, we're still in lockdown. We're allowed to play golf from Monday. It's been months. I fear on Monday when the golf course is open again, there's going to be some damaging results. Not purely for the golf scorecard, but for balls flying and potentially hitting lots of different things. The ball's going to be going everywhere. No one's played for months. And then straight away on Monday, I can guarantee if you're a golfer, you will be playing on Monday. The whole country will be playing golf. So there's just going to be white golf balls flying all across the country. They'll be bouncing everywhere.
I mean, as a comedian, we don't have too many balls flying around. I mean, because that would be the wrong kind of show. But it's actually, it's open up, but we are doing proper social distancing shows, which is a little bizarre because you have like a room of 100 people where you're allowed like 45. And initially, everybody's really awkward for the first 10, 12 minutes. And then it's awesome. It's incredible post that. So, yeah.
And also, we can't see people laughing because most of them are wearing a mask. So you have to just predict whether this person is laughing or not laughing, or even smiling. Like laughing, you can still figure out, but smiling, you can't figure out.
Yeah. By the way, we already have a lot of comments popping in. A lot of comments are saying, Michael the Troll one, love the way he messes with our triggered lot, says the Jordani Jovanovic. So let's get this out of the way. How much of what you put out on Twitter and all the rest of it is almost like baiting Indian fans, and how much of it is stuff that you're like, this is going to be really entertaining as a result, or it's stuff that I actually believe, or is it a mix?
No. I never tweet anything I don't believe, but I might twist it in a way that makes it more, if you like, throwing the bait out. So last year, I remember being on CricBuzz, and I said that the Mumbai Indians were the best T20 cricket team in India, and that included the national team. Now, I believe that. If the Mumbai Indians had all the Indian players that they could have and all the overseas players that they could have, I do believe they are the best T20 team, because you have Rohit Sharma, Jasprit Bumrah, you look at Suryakumar Yadav, Ishan Kishan, Kiran Pollard, Trent Bolt, you name it. The list is endless. Krunal Pandya. Hardik Pandya. If they had all their players, I do believe that the Mumbai Indians are the best T20 team in the world. And when I saw the start of the series and there's hardly any Mumbai Indian players in the Indian side, I was like, whoa. Get some more Mumbai Indian players, and you know what? You'll be very successful. And all of a sudden, one or two started to arrive. So, of course, every time a Mumbai Indian plays for India, Krunal Pandya, it was a different format in the 50 overs, made his debut. I just let people know that he's a Mumbai Indian. and the cricket fan in India are so passionate and powerful, and is every single person in India on social media?
It seems that way. It definitely seems that way, because if we reply to you, it's not, if we don't like what you say, we're not going to reply once. We will reply 11 times. so it seems like there's a absolute explosion of information, and sometimes it might not be as many people. What do you think, Angad?
Also, there's a limit of 280 characters, right? So when we reply to you, we want to give you an entirely long essay. So that's why.
Yeah, so that's India is great for cricket, and if you are always supporting them, of course you get lots of likes and fans. But I'm very impartial. I just love cricket. I like talking about cricket. I enjoy watching it. Obviously, I want England to win if possible. But it doesn't mean that I can't criticise England. It doesn't mean that I can't point fingers at their selection policy. You look at the Test series against India. I thought they got it wrong. The rotation, playing the best team in the world, it's not the right way to go in my view when you're playing such a quality team. So I'll always have my say. I mean, the pitches in India, particularly that third Test pitch, the pink ball Test match, it was a poor pitch. Simple as that for Test match cricket. I don't think it was good enough for Test match cricket. Test cricket is our crown jewel. It's what and why we all love it. If you're a cricket fan, you're generally a Test match cricket fan, and if you're just a cricket fan, you've generally come through the T20 game, which is fine, not a problem at all. But if you are a cricket fan, you love Test cricket, and it's important that we do as much as we can to protect it. And if preparing a pitch and seeing balls and seeing Joe Root get 5 for 8, if that's what people want to see, I don't. Even though Joe Root's a good friend of mine from Sheffield, played for the same club, county, local club, know his family, still, Joe admits himself, by him getting 5 for 8, it can't be a great pitch. So I'll say it, and I think it's important that the game in general looks after certain aspects of cricket. The other pitches were fine. The second pitch, I didn't think it was that good, but other than that, India were better, more skilled, got better players for those conditions. But you can't tell me that a third test pitch was a good pitch for test cricket, even though, it was quite exciting, entertaining. But when it lasts 2 days, nah, I'm not having that.
But I actually have a surprise thing for you where I think basis how the pitches have been in India, I've got actually a sample of the England pitches on the forthcoming tour and just like to share it. This is what it's going to be like.
It'll be. You've got that completely wrong because it's the same colour, but it'd be about that much longer.
Yeah. But I think Stuart Broad would get 8 for 15 on that. There you go. Angad, go ahead. Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, I think people don't focus on the last two, 3 lines that he said that, India did play well and the focus remains just on the pitches. But I want to ask, do you think Joe Root felt bad with the fact that Moeen Ali did not get to play a single T20 match? And he might be thinking he could have stayed for one more test match and then gone back?
Well, they asked him, of all the rotation players that England rotated from Sri Lanka to India, Josh Butler, Mark Wood, Sammy Curran, Johnny Bairstow, England didn't ask them to stay on. But Moeen Ali, they asked him after that second test match whether he would be willing to stay on, and he opted against it. Then a day later, when he got a little bit of, not just, Moeen didn't get the stick, the England management got the stick. They said, oh, no, he was always going home. So you could clearly see that England were getting themselves in a bit of a pickle. I don't know what Don Best did wrong, to be honest. He was doing quite well, and they obviously wanted Moeen in the side. And, for him then not to play any of the T20s, it made the selection look a little bit of a mockery.
Yeah, the rotation policy, even as an Indian fan, I'm a big fan of Johnny Bairstow. And I mean, given the fact that there was constant talk of him being the second best player of spin after Joe Root, I was quite surprised that he wasn't maybe, though you never know, and this connects to actually a super chat that I've popped in. I was reading this story about Freddie Flintoff, where he got run out in a match and he said it's because he had Viagra the night before. And it's a great article where he said I got stuck in the non-strikers end and I got run out. And in that, I think Freddie also, it's a bizarre article because it starts from that point of view and then goes on for Freddie talking about being motivated while playing cricket and how it was a little tough for him and stuff like that. So you never know. I mean, I'm sure you never know whether a cricketer is how they're feeling mentally and all the rest of that stuff, right?
So you're basically saying that when a cricketer struggles, it's because they've had Viagra the night before?
Maybe it'll help. I don't know. I mean, maybe you don't need the bat in that.
It generally helps most things, Viagra. But these times I completely understand that. When you hear of bio bubbles being taught, I'm completely with the players. It's an awful environment when you go from bubble to bubble to bubble. But my opinion is that England should have highlighted those 4 tests against India being the main part of the winter, of which they needed their best team. This is a test team that's okay. It does very well at home. It did well in South Africa. South Africa, again, are just an okay test team. They're not of the Indians or, the Australians, Khalistan and New Zealand, but they're okay. England beat them. They beat the West Indies. They beat Pakistan. Go to Sri Lanka, who are, again, an okay test team. Beat them, and then all of a sudden you come up against the 4 tests against India, the best team. Again, it's only my opinion. India are the best team in the world. That's my opinion. I just think they've got everything covered. And when they arrive and play, they're very difficult to beat. And they're the only team that I could see that could beat the opposing team in every single backyard. So India can come and beat England here. If they get their mind switched on mentally, technically, and they're fully committed, it's just whether they're going to be energised enough, because they play so much cricket. To beat England here in a 5-match test series, you've got to be strong mentally, physically, and willing to do a lot of hard yards. If India are willing to do that, they've got a great chance of beating England in the UK. And that's why I think they're the best team, because they can beat everyone wherever they play. And that's why when I saw England rotate against India, I was like, oh, it's like in a football game, England getting to to play Brazil 4 or 5 and resting the players. It just won't happen, because they know that they're playing the best team. You'd want your best players, and you want, particularly when you're on a journey, And I generally hate that word journey because it's nonsense. But the Test team are on this pathway of trying to beat Australia at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And you've beaten South Africa away. You've beaten Pakistan at home, West Indies home, Sri Lanka. The next challenge is, okay, let's go up in standard. Can we challenge ourselves against India? I still think that they're lost, because India are that good, but you'd still want to challenge your best players and your best team in those conditions. And then you've got a few tests at home against New Zealand and India. And then obviously it's the Ashes, which is what it's all about, whether people like it or not. In England, it's about the Ashes, and in every 2 or 3 years you play Australia, and it's, can you get hold of those Ashes? England have not got the Ashes at the minute. Australia came and drew 2 all in the UK, the first time that they've really competed in England since 2005, and the first time that they've kind of taken the Ashes back since 2001. So I was surprised, I have to say, that they rotated so much.
Do you think the main reason for that was because the T20 World Cup is happening in India, so they wanted the best team for the T20, all the players available?
Yeah, again, I completely get that, but all the T20 players are going to play in the IPL, so of course you want your team. But this white ball team of England, it doesn't need that much oiling. Now they've played the T20s 5 games. They used 12 players. They got found out, and they'll say, "Look, we found out that the situation that we and the team that we picked is possibly not going to be right for the World Cup in 7 or 8 months' time because all the quicks didn't work. They did need an extra spinner. They need a right-hand finisher in the middle. Too many left-handers in that middle order. So they'll say that they found that out because they played 5 T20s. I think they'd have found that out pretty much anyway because, all the players will have played, potentially 10 to 14 games in the IPL, got used to conditions. And as I said, if there's one format that, that it doesn't need as much oil and as much tender loving care, that's the white ball format for England. What needs a lot of tender loving care is the Test format because they've just not got the Ashes. They haven't got the Ashes in their hands. And, playing at India and then playing 5 against them in the summer, 2 against New Zealand. This stretch of Test cricket now is a tough one for England. They've had quite a relatively straightforward one for a year and a half. Now it's tough. This is when you kind of find out about your players.
Okay, I got a lot of questions popping, and I'll just take a couple of them that are the nicest ones. This is actually a question that Kiran Sai, first of all, thanks a lot for your question. But let's take Shubhankar Verma's question, which is, what's it like sharing a dressing room with Freddie Flintoff? And actually, like a follow-up on that, because Flintoff always seemed like one of those players who uplifts everybody else around him because of the sort of personality as well as the performance. But so I'm curious, like, were there other players like him around, and what is it like actually having Flintoff around?
I mean, I'll be telling you. I mean, I captained Freddie 13 years ago, so I'll be honest with you. I don't know him that well. I knew him as the cricketer back then, but I don't know him that well now. We very rarely see each other. He's gone off and done Top Gear and many TV shows, and he's not around cricket. So I honestly don't know him that well. But going back to when we were together, 2003 to 2008, I think a lot of people, he was quiet in the dressing room. He wasn't that bundle of energy in the dressing room. He just kind of sat in the corner. A lot of times he was reading a book. Of course he joined in banter, and when we won, he celebrated like many of us. But in the dressing room, someone like Matthew Hoggard would have been more of the kind of jokes person, and many of the younger players. But Freddie used to just have a very messy corner, lots of gear everywhere, piled up, not knowing what to put on at what time. And he used to have a chair and he'd just read a book very, very quietly. Once he got on the pitch, he was vocal. That's when he kind of came to life over that white line. And, when he had the ball in his hand, he was incredible. I think that, a lot of people don't remember how good a bowler he was. For a period of around 2003 to 2005, I mean, his bowling was phenomenal. His batting was great. He could smack it out of the park. But I really always talk about Freddie Flintoff's bowling as being of the highest quality. When he was on and he was fit, he could match it with the best. And if he'd have played, I know he didn't, but if he had played 12 years of Test cricket as a bowler, we'd have got 500, 600 test wickets, no question about that.
Flintoff in the current England T20 or the white ball team would be like the team would be unbeatable then, I think.
Yeah, I'd Ian Botham into there as well, and they'd be good.
Yeah.
This is
Just
a
call it all
cricket
England
we're
favorite.
very generally England's kind of cricket and the times where people know us. So, i.e., the 80s, you know England because of Ian Botham, an all-rounder. You know, you go to, I guess, the early 2000s where, you know, the majority of people remember the Ashes in 05, and it's because Freddie Flintoff, an all-rounder.
Yeah.
And you look at English cricket now, why is it so, you know, kind of visual? Ben Stokes, an all-rounder. You know, when England have an all-rounder of high class, England generally win series, tournaments, do some extraordinary things, and it's generally always because, you know, the all-rounder has played its part. You know, Ben Stokes, Headingley 2019, the World Cup final, obviously Freddie Flintoff 05, Beefy Botham, just the 80s, 81, 85, 86, you name it, Ian Botham just played the 80s. Yeah, and it's generally always down to the all-rounder that seems to be at the time that they're playing. So Freddie Flintoff, when he played cricket, was a drinker, and he was a very good drinker. Since he stopped playing cricket, he doesn't drink at all. I think he got it the wrong way around.
Well, it also might be the pressure, right? Like, I think sometimes when you're like just performing in any format, I'm assuming that you just need to let the steam off as opposed to now. But again,
So Sorabh, I think it's also something to do with age, right? When you are around 30, you feel like you can do everything. But when you touch 40, you're like, okay, the body is giving up. I need to control something.
Yeah. But we got to talk about this, okay? I was actually searching for your videos on YouTube, and the top 10 Michael Vaughan videos. 2 of them are Dale Stein's delivery to you, which so one is just a replay of that, which is by Rob Linda, and the other one is the analysis of the ball of the century by Cricinfo, which put it at number 5. So I'm curious, like when you were facing that ball, did you feel like this is nothing I could have done with this?
Oh yeah, I mean, which one? His first Test wicket in Port Elizabeth.
Yeah, his first Test wicket. Yeah, that's the one.
I mean, he did me at Lords with a similar ball. You know, when someone hits the scene and delivers a ball like that, you kind of all stand up and oh, this lad could be pretty good. And he was so quick, skiddy. I found him very difficult to pick out the hand. He had like a whippy action. Yeah, and he was one of, you know, quite a few bowlers that I found really tricky in Test match cricket. But I would say that probably Dale Steyn, because of that release and that whippy action. And I got him, you know, generally when they come onto the scene, these quick bowlers, they bowl quicker when they start, and then they realise that they can't do it every day in Test cricket. So they come smarter bowlers, then become better for it and become more skillful. You look at Jimmy Anderson when he first came into Test cricket, he used to run in and try and bowl 90 miles an hour. He now bowls 80 miles an hour with all the skill in the world, and he's a miles better bowler now. Dale Steyn was the same. When he first came onto the scene, he just charged in and tried to bowl as quick as he could. And you got lots of opportunities to score, but he'd also have the ability to bowl the ball like you're probably watching on YouTube now, with my off stump being flown out the ground. But as he got older and better, I think he became more consistent, not quite as quick. He had that ability to bowl that pace whenever he wanted to, but it was at the right time when the game situation really needed it. But yeah, magnificent bowler. I think didn't he have a pop at the IPL recently? Didn't he say something?
Yeah. He said the Pakistan League and the Sri Lanka League, he prefers those leagues because the focus is more on cricket.
Yeah.
And then he decided not to play in IPL this year. Yeah, he decided not to play.
Yeah,
I don't think he will be coming back.
And also, I mean, the thing is, he's entitled to his opinion. I mean, maybe he had more fun. I mean, I don't see the big deal about it. But
the problem is when people share their opinions, we don't like it. And if they don't share opinions, we're like, oh, you guys are being so diplomatic.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, I have a trick question for you, Michael. Who do you think has a better Test bowling average, you or Tom Curran?
Right.
You said it's a trick question, so.
Yeah.
Well, because it's got to be me, surely.
Yeah.
It's got to be
surely.
you.
Surely.
So apparently, and I think I don't know if this is actually correct, but your bowling average is 95.3. Is that correct?
It'll be somewhere. I mean,
Sounds right.
yeah,
Yeah.
but I've got the big one in my pocket.
Yeah.
I've
There
got
you go,
Sachin in my
yeah.
pocket. So I'll tell you what, I'm going to show you something here. I'm going to take you to this wall here, and look, there's the ball.
Oh man, nice.
Look, and there it is. Signed by Sachin.
Did he also sign it by saying this will never happen again? Like he didn't put that on.
Look at that. That's all right, isn't it?
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't keep too many things, but that ball, and I've got the stump as well somewhere, but I don't know where that is. But it's in this room. Yeah, so it's up on the wall, the ball. And when I bowled in that day, I mean, I couldn't believe it, as my celebrations showed. And at the end of the game, I had to nick the stump, and I nicked the ball, and I dressing room at Trent Bridge, which was on the top deck of the pavilion, and the Indian dressing room was just below, but you have to walk past it. And I got into the dressing room. I thought, oh, I could do with nipping down and getting Sachin to sign this. So I nipped in as Sorabh was giving his team talk. So I stopped. So I said, Sorabh, Sachin, can you just sign this ball and this stump, please? I said, we're having the team meeting. Like, cheers, guys. I'm off now.
It was just an excuse to spy on what Saurav Ganguly was saying. Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, just to say, Tom Curran in 2 tests has a bowling average currently of 100, which I'm sure will improve. But yeah, you beat him there. I'm sure I'll get better. Okay, we have a lot of questions coming in. Rahul Nuthaki has a question on Super Chat where he says, Michael, what's your take on the Ashes this summer? It's going to be closer than the Aussies are giving it credit for.
Yeah, I mean, because India beat Australia, it's given England a massive kind of hope. I think it's, put Australia under quite a lot of pressure. A bit of pressure on Tim Payne, the captain. He's not quite got his team over the lines when it's been tense and tight. You go to Sydney when India batted out the last day. You go to the last test match in Brisbane where it got tight. He declared on that 4th day and then India chased it down brilliantly. You go back to Headingley 2019, didn't quite get his team over the line with, that game being tight.
A bad DRS call.
Yeah, absolutely. So Aussies will be the favourites. Don't let anyone sway that. And all the chat will be, it's going to be tight, it's going to be close. Well, we always say that. And the last 2 times England have been there, they've lost 5-0, 4-0. The last time Ben Stokes wasn't there because obviously he was on the naughty step at that time. But Ben Stokes will be there hopefully this time. And, England, with Anderson, Broad, one, I don't think both of them will play. Jofra Archer's a key. Jofra's going to have to fire for England. He seems to have the wool over David Warner's eyes at the minute whenever he bowls to him. And getting off to that kind of start, early wickets is going to be very important. And getting runs, I guess that's the one thing I look at England and think, how are you going to get 450, 500? That's the only thing against Cummins, Stark, Hazelwood, Lyon, Pattinson, Jai Richardson, whoever they pick. Can England get the big scores with the batting lineup that they have? And that's going to be the ultimate challenge.
Angad, do you have a question? Please go ahead. I'll take
Yes, I want to actually focus on the 2005 Ashes, obviously. You being the captain. What was going through your mind in the second test match when I think the last wicket and you still had, Australia still had some 50 runs to get. So what was going through your mind at that point? And then in the final over that was left, and then finally you got the wicket of Michael Kasparovich. So what happened in that 1 hour sort of a duration as a captain?
You want the truth?
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah, no, I thought shit, we'd lost. No, I mean the Aussies were such a good team that they never knew they were beaten.
Yeah.
And when you see, Michael Kasparovich, you really can't bat. He can't hold a bat. And Brett Lee can bat and he's determined, he's got a huge heart. But when you've only got 1 wicket and you need 50 odd, you can't get that amount of runs. It's impossible. But they could, because they found, Kasparovich suddenly turned himself into Steve Waugh. Brett Lee suddenly arrived and he was Ricky Ponting for half an hour. And you think, well, why is that possible? But I guess in the back of my mind, I was quite cool because sometimes in sport, you can only do what you can do. And I never felt that the team were bowling badly or fielding badly. I just thought, wait a minute, these Aussies are just playing incredibly. You know, we were throwing everything at them. Steve Armstrong and Freddie were charging in. I remember Brett Lee getting hit about 4 or 5 times in the chest, on the arm. You know, and if it's meant to be, it's meant to be. You know, I think that's a very, very strong mentality in sport. If you can have that mindset, if it's meant to be, and if you've done everything you possibly can, and it's meant to be, it will be. And if it's not, you know what, you dust yourself down and you come back again. Yeah, so I was just looking around going, someone do something, please. Let's have a bit of fortune. We had a catch that went down to third man and Simon Jones drops it.
Yeah.
And I'll be honest, I thought that was the chance. I always feel in tight games, you do get a chance.
Yeah.
You know, you always get an opportunity, whether it's a tactical move, it's a catch, a run out opportunity. You know, it's so tense and tight for both teams. You've got to remember that they're feeling it a lot more than we are. But by the 50 away, they can play how they want. But as soon as they get close, and on that occasion, you know, Brett Lee and Kasparovich getting very close, you almost sense that the pressure sways to them because they've done so much. They've got to lose it then. So you can only do what you can do. And that's when sports teams get unstuck, is when they start doing things that they necessarily wouldn't normally do. You know, you just got to do what you can do and hope it's your day.
Did you give any a motivating speech during a team huddle that, come on lads? Nothing.
No.
That's all for the movies. Okay. I'm pretty sure if there's a movie made of 2005 Ashes, you will have a.
No, I mean, before the games and after games, I mean, I remember getting the team together after Old Trafford when the Aussies batted out for a draw on the last day. I saw all the Aussies celebrating on the balcony. And that's when I looked. I'd never seen Australia celebrate a draw, ever. So I got the team together, said, just look at that. You know, we might have not won the game, but we've made the likes of Hayden and co jump around all over each other like a kids' football match because they've drawn against us. You know, who'd have thought that a few months ago? So let's take a huge amount of heart from seeing Buchanan and co jumping around celebrating drawing against us little minnows. So let's go to the next game and go again.
And the fourth test match also, I think it kind of got close, right? After following on, not as close as the second one, obviously.
No, but that's when we realised the whole country were watching and cricket was becoming very popular, and we needed it to be close purely for the entertainment factor.
All right.
So we always had it in our eyes to have Matthew Hoggard walking out there to bat with his chase bat with no middle and lots of edges.
So at that point, you started thinking, if someday it's going to be made into a movie, we need a proper scripting for that.
Is it true?
Sorabh, your internet. Sorabh, are you back? Yeah, sorry, Michael. Go on.
My internet's behaving a little dicey. Just completely. Yeah, just ignore
That's okay. It. England is behaving the same way on Chennai pitches. It was fine.
Yeah, we realised. We realised back then in 2005 that we started to get a bit of attention. So you wouldn't want to do it like the boring way, would you? And win by 9 wickets.
Yeah,
that didn't get attention. You want to do it with Matthew Hoggard and Ashley Giles, the wheelie bin. He'd been called a wheelie at the start of the series. We'd lost heavily at Lords. Yeah. And someone wrote an article saying England play with 10 because Ashley Giles isn't worth it. He's just a wheelie bin.
Ashley Giles was always a very fascinating bowler to watch because you used to get so frustrated as a viewer because they're around the wicket into the legs and you're like, you know what I'm saying? But he got the results eventually for you guys. Okay, we have a.
Ashley Giles is Sachin and Dravid have been stumped in Test cricket only once, and both the time, both have been stumped on Ashley Giles.
Over the wicket.
Yeah. If you guys are watching, please give a like and let's get the likes up to 5,000. Let's do it. Anirudh Dhawan has a compliment for you. He says, Kevin Pieterson, my favorite cricketer of all time. Nasir Hussain and Vaughan, my favorite cricket analyst / commentator of all time. What about yours? Wow, favorite cricketer of all time is a really tough one. Do you have a favorite cricketer of all time?
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. I think he's the best cricketer that's ever played the game. I mean, Don Bradman, I can't talk about players back in the day because, I've been making it up. I haven't seen enough of it. But in my time, from say the 80s till now, if I was picking a World 11, it'd start with my number 8, and that'd be Shane Warne. Without any question. What he brought to the game, leg spin, batting, sledging, catching at first slip, and the fact that he was engaged to Liz Hurley makes it even more remarkable. He's an incredible character. So if I'm picking a World 11, I start with SK Warne at number 8.
I have one more. Do you want to take super chats first?
Yeah. Do you have a favorite cricketer of all time though? Do you like? I can pick one. I can.
Yeah, even I can't. But like in recent times, what I remember is Dhoni. Like Dhoni for me changed the way the Indian team played. So there's always that sort of an association with him. Like before him, I don't even remember having a wicketkeeper batsman. We either had a wicketkeeper or a batsman wicketkeeper. Yeah. That is what we had.
And then occasionally we had Nayan Mongia scoring 151 against Australia and India. And you're like, my God, is this possible? And then it literally didn't happen again, I think. I'll just take one more chat and then we'll take your question, Angad. Rahul Nuthaki has a question. Warnie, thoughts on England spinner Jack Leach to be primary? Has Moeen Ali got more chances coming, or is it the end of the road? I actually kind of agree with you. I was watching the replay of the test, and I think Dom Bess's big problem was the full tosses. But I've always felt like, if he's getting the wickets, then what's the issue? And also with Moeen Ali seems to be the kind of person you want to play in a test match in Asia for sure. Especially with the lower order batting and everything. Do you think England was a little unfair to both of them?
Well, I think if you go back to Sri Lanka when England arrived, Moeen had a negative, positive COVID test, so he missed the 2 tests.
Yeah.
I just wonder whether England were going to play him in those 2 tests to get him into the groove. But, in terms of the rotation, apparently Moeen was always going to have to go after the second test match. That was kind of written in that he was going at that time. So maybe Dom Bess was always going to play. Dominic Besser got 17 wickets in his 3 test matches in 21 at 22 apiece. And he got 4 for 80 in that first innings, got Virat Kohli out when the pitch was flat, caught short leg. And then the second innings, when England won, he only bowled 8 overs. And it was almost that England decided upon those 8 overs that, right, we're going to get Moeen Ali into the side. Dom Bess has been very vocal that, he's had a few problems and a few struggles. And I just think England didn't manage that situation well at all, because to then get rid of Dominic, to bring Moeen in, knowing that Moeen was going to go home, but then Bess finds out that Moeen's the only player that England desperately tried to keep on. And then Moeen certainly would have played the pink ball game. Dominic didn't play on an absolute beach. And then he's asked to play in the 4th test match, knowing really that the England side didn't, or the management didn't want him in the side for the previous 2 games, which, it's very difficult for any player to cope with that, but never mind a young player. They got it wrong. It's as simple as that. They just got that management side of those individuals completely wrong.
And I think Root didn't have so much confidence on him, because even in the 4th test, he bowled sort of very late. Even though there were 3 frontline bowlers, he didn't really get chance early on.
Yeah, that happens. Captaincy management in cricket teams, and particularly when you're on tour, it's not easy. It really isn't, because you're swapping and juggling. You're dealing with, so many different characters, and the best way to manage players is to manage the person. So you have to find out who that person is first, and really understand what makes them tick. What they're motivated by, what are the goals, and then you've got to identify their role in the team, explain their role, what you expect them to deliver. But ultimately, it's about managing the person. And, captaincy is hard because not every person is the same. So you've got to go out your way to try and be different to everyone. Arm around your shoulder, a volley or 2 to 1 or 2 others, ignore a few others just to try and keep them on the toes. You've got to have these different management styles for every different person. So it's not easy. But I did feel sorry for Dom Bess, a young player making his way, and he was, I just didn't think he was managed in any way, shape or form in a decent fashion.
Okay, we have, and I think, by the way, this is what the end slogan of this should probably be the title of your next book. Anirudh Panakar says, as an inside joke for Indians and for our beloved Sunny Gavaskar, would like to get this out of the way. Chal foot. Do you, so do you know what do you know what that's in context to?
No, explain.
Chalfoot means get out, and I think after all the pitch conversation in after
Sunil Gavaskar said that.
I think Sunil Gavaskar said that all the analysts who are dissing the pitch Chalfoot. So I think that should be the next book by Michael Vaughan, just called Chalfoot. It'll be a bestseller in India for sure.
Why don't you write it with me?
Done. This is great. Let me know how many. I'm working on my 4th book right now. I'm happy to work on the 5th as well. So yeah, I gotta ask you this: like when you retired, there's a statement of yours that it came in, and I'm just curious if this actually happened or no. Where you decided to take retirement because you said that 2 weeks ago my little lad Archie bowled a ball that hit a weed and knocked my off stump out of the ground. If a 3-year-old is bowling me out, it's time to move over. Did that actually happen?
Yeah, true. Absolute truth. The only in kind of thing that's wrong with that statement is it didn't hit a weed. it just kind of bowled me through the gate. It just zipped on a bit quicker. I mean, he was bowling from about six yards away.
Yeah.
But you know when a 3-year-old's genuinely, usually you're giving your kids wickets in the garden. You know, you're gifting them a little flick in the air, or you're missing one on purpose. On that occasion, I was actually trying to stay in. So yeah, it's time to go when that's the case.
Angad, go ahead. I know you.
Yeah, I want to ask, amongst all the international bowlers that you faced, was there one that was sort of underrated, but you had a difficulty facing that bowler?
Yeah. I found Corey Cullimore at the West Indies. You know, really difficult, particularly in English conditions where the ball would zip around. And, you know, he could swing the Duke ball, but also get it to, you know, the wobble scene, the trendy wobble scene these days, and get it zipping either way. Corey Cullimore, and also in county cricket was my nemesis, who I hated facing about 30 miles an hour, was Dimi Mascarenhas.
Mascarenhas, okay. You remember Mascarenhas for hitting 5 6s?
Yeah, 5 6s. Yeah.
You know, he would, have the keeper stood up in 4-day cricket, and he'd be like, I'd turn and go, "What are you doing here? You know, why is the keeper stood up to?" And then you go, "God, here we go. This little wobblers, awful, no pace, can't hit him." You almost felt that you wanted to ramp him and like sweep him and launch him, but you can't do that in a 4-day game. I hated facing him.
Oh. There's very few of those around. Like I remember, this is the Hansi Cronje problem, right? Where like Sachin kept saying that the bowler he found toughest to face was Hansi Cronje. And every world-class batsman seems to find those
dilly-dally bowlers, as we like.
Yeah, that's Sorabh Ganguly. Yeah, facing Sorabh, bowling those little wobbling outswingers at 12 miles an hour. It was a nightmare.
And also the sound of all the chains hitting his chest again and again probably also disturbed the concentration.
So like an engine chugging towards you. Okay, we have Prasad Bheti, who has a strange question where he says, had ECB poached Dale Steyn early, would that have made you play 50 more tests? And was that on the cards at any stage?
No, but we generally try. We're trying to scout India now for players, because we've never really had too many Indians play for England. We've tend to had South Africans. We're now.
I mean, you had one captain from us.
Yeah, Nasser. Yeah, that's one. We
want to clearly not happy about Nasser. Now we want to know, how was your relationship with Nasser?
No, great, love him. But we want someone better than Nasser. Come on. We want. You got that many young, Indian batsmen. I mean, Prithvi Shaw's not playing. We could have him. I mean, we generally have been very clever in England. We've created academies all over the world. So, we've had the South African academy has been very good for us. Kevin Pieterson came over. Alan Lamb. We've now got a very good academy in Barbados where Jofra Archer's been developed, and he's a tremendous bowler for England now. If the ECB are smart, that they should create an academy in Mumbai. We could do with some spinners. We need a spinner or two, so maybe we can get nice. We'll build a pitch. We'll build a pitch in Mumbai and just develop our own over there.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised to see Praveen Tambe playing for England. That would be, that'd be like, the Adil Rashid might feel slighted by that. Okay, we have Rahul Nutaki. Lots of questions from you, man. Thanks a lot. Rahul says, Michael, thoughts on England keeper, Folks, Johnny, and Joss, your pick. It seems pretty simple that Folks should be the test. I mean, his keeping is sensational. What about the rest?
Yeah, but Butler is an incredible cricketer.
Yeah.
And I think, Butler's keeping has got better. I think his keeping now is good. It's not to the level of Ben Folks. He, in my eyes, is the best keeper in the world. But it's what Butler offers as the player. I do feel when Butler's in the Test match team, the opponents fear him, because they know that he can do things with the bat that not many players can do. Ben Folks is a decent batter, but I don't think India would fear his batting. I don't think he can change the game with his batting. And I think you have to at number 7, 6 and 7 and 8. I think you've got to have the ability as a batter to change the game. And that might be by being aggressive. Might be reading the situation to just hang in there. The majority of the time that you bat down at numbers 7 and 8, you're batting with the tail. Yeah. So you do have to have that ability to explode. And that's what Butler has. He is, he's England's best ever white ball player. And in Test cricket in the last year and a half, that's why it really disappointed me that he didn't play all the Test matches in India. When you've got a player like that, who I know India would fear, for him only to have played one Test, that can't have been right. But no, if I'm picking any of them, Butler all day long. He's been fantastic for England in Test cricket over the last year and a half.
Also, he's got those eyes of a very empathetic serial killer, like of a person who'll assassinate you and then take care of your family. Like he's got those really. As a tremendous player. Yeah, we'll take one more super chat and then a question from Angad as well. Okay, this is a slightly controversial question. I'm sure you're sick of answering this, but let's just get it out. Rahul Nuthaki says, Michael, I reckon KP could have played for England for another 5 years, if not for ECB / Strauss issues. Thoughts?
I was very vocal at the time that I'd like to have seen him play on. I think Andrew Strauss and the England management have since admitted that, both sides didn't get it right. I think when you've got two stubborn sides, an England side that's saying, no, we're doing it right, and then Kevin's saying, no, I'm doing it right, ultimately it always ends in tears. No one wins. I do think he could have played for another couple of years. I think he would have needed to change, but also England would have needed to change in terms of the way that they managed a player like Kevin Pieterson. In my time, playing the game, he was the one player that came into our team that I knew was completely different to anything else that I'd ever seen. To have the ability to really put the fear of life into a Shane Warne or a Glenn McGrath. We've had some good players that have played well against those kind of bowlers, but I don't think we've had too many that the Aussies have really genuinely feared. And in Kevin Pieterson, he was a player that I think whoever he played against, Muralitharan, the Indian team, South African team, the Aussies, Kiwis, they knew that if Pieterson came and played and batted for 4 or 5 hours in Test cricket, he can win you a game in just a short space of time. He was that good. So, yeah, I'd like to have seen him play a bit longer. But I guess all these kind of flamboyant players that, I guess, test the eyes of the management. I think that's, you go through all the era of great players, and those that are slightly different, Shane Warne, Ian Botham, Freddie Flintoff, Kevin Pieterson, star players, but they generally always do test the authorities. They don't always like being told what to do. And ultimately it always ends up in a big kind of eruption. It's sad that it ends in that way, and it was really sad for me that Kev kind of disappeared from English cricket and really hasn't been seen since. He's obviously got a lot to offer. I don't know whether we'll see him. He doesn't do any TV in England, doesn't do a great deal, and most of his work is with you guys in India. So hopefully he'll get back to doing stuff in England.
Well, you'll be seeing him playing golf on Monday for sure.
Yes. Oh, yes, no question. Yeah, he'll be the first on the tee box.
He was playing for England Legends, I believe. Yeah, he was.
Yeah, he was.
For the road safety series.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Yeah.
So I want to ask. When a player becomes a captain, does it impact his performance because of becoming a captain, or it's generally a trend that as you age, your performance goes down? Because as a non-captain, I think your average was test matching average was around 50, but as a captain, it came down towards the later half. Do you think it was the pressure of being a captain?
Yeah, particularly to start with. Yeah, so much on your plate, so many things that I wanted to do with the team that didn't quite focus as much on my batting. And then once you start losing a little bit of your mojo as a batter, it's bloody hard to get back. It's hard work. Test cricket is tough. So yeah, I mean, I look back and think, wait a minute, I ended up with an average of near over 41, 36 or 7 as a captain, 47 without. And yeah, when there's a 10 or 11 run difference, of course, the captaincy took a little bit out of me. But I also look at it and think, wait a minute, what were the players that I was managing delivering as well? If I can add 10 or 15% on top of their normal average to the times that they were in the team, and I was managing them and making sure that they were right. And if my performance level dipped by 20% in terms of the run scoring, but everyone else is kind of maneuvered up by 7 to 10%, well, you've actually done your job quite well. And there's different types of leaders. There's leaders that lead by example with the bat, or the ball, that go out there and purely are about, right, I'm going to get as many runs as I can. Graham Gooch was a perfect example. Alistair Cook. My style of leadership was very much tactical, strategic, and managing people. I'd love to have been better at going out there and leading by example with the batting hand. I did it on a few occasions, but not consistently. But I tried to be the leader that was with the players all the time. So I was just a different style. There's players and captains that do it differently. That's why cricket's great. There's not one type of leader, not one type of player. I was a different leader to Joe Root, to Alistair Cook, to Nasser Hussain. I just did it my way. And my way wasn't to average 50, 60. It was to average 36, 37, popping at the right time, but also hopefully try and manage the players at the right time as well as I possibly could.
Okay.
Yeah, like Jason Holder was playing yesterday, like in the Sri Lanka test, at least for the first innings. I mean, now Sri Lanka's made a great comeback, but he seemed like relieved of the captaincy. He was just like just floating around. He's like, this is such a weight off my back. It was great. Yeah, but Angad, you were saying something, huh?
Yeah, I want to ask, why doesn't cricket bodies or management and boards, why don't we have a lot of bowlers who are captains? We see a lot of batsmen being captains, none of the bowlers.
Michael is like, oh, this question again.
No. Do you know what? Bowlers aren't very clever, are they? And the reason I say that is because when they were little, they had a choice. They had a choice that they could just stand there with a piece of willow in their hand and try and whack a ball, or decide upon running 20, 30 yards and deliver the ball to be whacked.
Yeah.
I mean, that's why they're not the brightest. I mean, because it started right at the start of their career that they decided to be bowlers instead of batters. I think the nearest one would be Pat Cummins, that Pat Cummins could potentially get to becoming Australian captain, whether that's sooner rather than later. Jason Holder, as you've mentioned, all-rounder, but, I would say a bowling all-rounder rather than a batting all-rounder. It's bloody difficult to be an all-rounder and be the captain, when you're in the game all the time anyway. So, for instance, Ben Stokes has been whispered of potentially he could, if Joe Root decides to let the captains go in a year's time after the Ashes, Ben Stokes could be that person. I'd be like, oh, Ben Stokes can do everything, but to give him the captaincy as well as being that leader anyway on the pitch, I'm not sure about that.
You're seeing him bowl I think it was the 4th test match, where every ball it looked like his energy was just going down and down. And on top of that, if he has to be the captain, I think that will be too harsh on him.
Yeah, I agree.
I got to ask you about this, which is that there was an entire incident with Steve Smith and the shadow batting, where I read somewhere that Justin. So basically, this Steve was shadow batting with when Rishabh Pant was playing, and you and Darren Gough basically said that this is completely uncalled for, and Justin Langer called you both up to talk to you. I'm just curious how does that conversation go about? Like, what does he say exactly? Because Justin Langer doesn't seem like, in the fairest way, the most laid back person. Like, it would be quite intimidating to receive a call from him.
Yeah, well, first and foremost, I actually didn't say it was cheating.
Right.
You know, I never said it was cheating. I just said it was strange, and it was a bit silly of Steve Smith to put himself in that position with what's gone on, you know, from the Cape Town situation. I've never seen Steve Smith scratch his guard as a left-hander in my time.
Yeah.
I've seen him shadow bat as a right-hander on days 1, 2, and 3, knowing that he's got a second innings to bat. But I've never seen him do what he did, knowing that he's not going to bat again, and certainly he's not going to bat left-handed again. So I just thought it was a little bit silly. Justin Langer didn't ring; he texted. I don't know if he rang Goffey, but me and Justin are good pals, and we had a very honest and fair text exchange where I said it's not cheating. I just think it's a bit silly.
Yeah.
And what was worse that week that got kind of brushed under the carpet was, you know, the fact that the Indian players had been racially abused on the outfield by supporters in the crowd, and then the Australians took it on themselves to abuse the Indian players, in particular the captain abusing Ravi Ashwin on that last day with his batting, and I was like, whoa. You know, sometimes you've just got to take a little bit of a step back and realise what's happening. So I just didn't think it was a great look for the Australians with what they've been from to where they're at now. I mean, Tim Paine has been incredible as a captain. I think he really has taken over that mantle of getting them playing good, strong cricket well. But we've not seen too many episodes like we saw in Sydney, you know, on that 4th and 5th day where it just got a little bit, and it wasn't, it's the Aussies back to their old tricks. It just wasn't a great look. You know, and we've all seen, I'm sure, the Amazon documentary about the Australian team. Brilliant. It's absolutely fantastic. And all the words that I've heard in that documentary about the respect and, you know, the trust, you know, on the 4th and 5th day in Sydney, I'm sorry, that all went to bed. You know, you've got to remember, once you put all that kind of information to the public to be able to see, which they did, they opened up their dressing room, which was great, loved it. And I hope more sports teams do it. But when you do that, and then you go back to doing something that's not in that documentary, which states that, you know, they want to be honest and truthful and play the game hard, but in the right way. You know, what they did on the 5th day, that wasn't playing the game the right way. So Tim Paine came out and apologised. So that's absolutely fine, brushed under the carpet. But no, Justin didn't ring, he just texted. WhatsApp, actually.
So the moment that you guys had when you saw the Australian team celebrating a draw, we Indians felt the same way when we saw Tim Paine trying to get under Ashwin's skin. We were like, okay, they fear that they are out of the game. Like they feel they are on the back foot.
Yeah, but what was ironic about that chirp, you know, Tim Paine's abusing someone like Ravi Ashwin, who he's got 5 Test match hundreds, is he now? Tim Paine hasn't even got one. Sometimes you've got to be, you know, you've got to play it hard, but you know, our Ashwin just seems to get a little bit of the brunt. I mean, I like his character. He always comes back with a bit of information or a chirp back on social media or in the press. Brilliant, great for the game. And he's the one spin bowler actually that I think's got a great chance of getting to that Shane Warne and Muralithan kind of 700, 800. Particularly
he needs to stay fit.
Yeah, particularly if you keep preparing dust bowls and beaches.
I had to bring it back. I have a pitch match of the Lord's next pitch. It's just going to be a garden. It's just going to be trees everywhere. Okay, Michael, I know you have you've been very generous with your time. I'll just take this last question from Neeraj Deshpande, which is, hi, Michael, what are your thoughts about umpire's call and all the drama that's been going around it recently? Just want to say that after Michael answers this, Angad and me are going to continue for about half an hour and take all your questions that are pending. So don't worry about that. So yeah, what do you think about the umpire's call?
I mean, to get it absolutely spot on with everyone being happy, I think it's very difficult. I think it's about right. You know, I think it's one that's quite confusing when a ball looks to have crashed into the stumps, and the umpire's giving it not out, and it's umpire's call, and people back home, yeah, but the ball's going to be hitting the stumps. How can that not be out? But it's just the way of the world. It is what it is, and it's the best it possibly can be. I think what I like about cricket is it's still dependent on the players out in the middle making the right call. So the right call is obviously appealing for a ball that they think is out, and then the umpire gives it not out. You've got a chance to say, well, can we have a look at that? We think it's an absolute Sam. You got to remember the review process was brought in to get rid of the howler, to get rid of that shocking LBW, or that batsman caught it short leg where he's clearly gloved it, bounced off the thigh pad, given not out, where you can review it, you get the wicket. And I think that's all I'll say about technology. When we're arguing about umpires' call and catches and certain little decisions that don't go quite your team's way, just remember why it was brought in. And it was just to get rid of that absolute stinking LBW or stinking caught behind chance that wasn't given. The one area of the game that I think needs to be changed is the soft signal. I don't get. Yeah. Soft signals when the umpires, it's hard enough for an umpire to give a decision 22 yards away. How an umpire can give a soft signal to a catch which is 70, 80 yards away, I just think that's nonsense. And I think it's unfair. In those situations, it should be dead clear. The umpire should have a third option, if you like. It's not out, not out. I ain't got a clue.
Yeah, none of the above.
No idea. That's absolutely fine. If you've got no idea, well, you've got no idea. You haven't seen it. So let the third umpire have a look, and he'll get all the replays and decide upon it. It's the only real area that I would change. Everything else, the only bugbear that I have in cricket at the minute, and it always, I guess when I was playing, I used to kind of listen to Geoffrey Boycott complain about this, and he said, "Oh, shut up, Boyks, you're getting old." And I'm probably that person now that the players go, "Oh, he's getting old." Is the over rates in all form? It's atrocious. Yeah. It really is atrocious. 4 hours and 12 minutes it took India to bowl.
Yeah.
The other day. I mean, it's just an hour and 55 for a 20 over game.
Yeah.
It's just.
Well, it's basically, I mean, the Aussies essentially missed a place in the WTC final because of an over rate. So essentially, maybe they need to be far more, because I don't think the players really care about match fees.
No, they don't. Yeah. Well, when they're earning so much and you get cut 20% of a few grand, I mean, it's like, which pocket do you want it out of? They're really not bothered about that. I think they've got to bring in on that given day run penalties. So actually, it was England the other day that bowled in 4 hours 12 minutes. Right. And England should have been penalised. It should have been right. England, you're 5 overs over the allotted time, having given you a bit of time for X, Y, and Z. And it's 10 runs per over, 50 runs added to England. So, you're now chasing 367. I'll guarantee that if you had 10 runs per over onto a one day or a T20, I'll guarantee that the overs are bowled quickly.
Michael, thanks a lot for your time. I just have to say one thing before you head is that big fan of somebody who did better than you on Strictly Come Dancing. Darren Gough was like, when I was growing up, I used to try and bowl like him for years and years, not realizing that I don't have the physical strength that he does. I injured my ankle multiple times. So massive fan of his as well. So please convey my regards like a psychopath. And this has been a pleasure. And thanks a lot for talking to us. Really appreciate it.
Any time, guys. I'll come back on. No problems.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Mike.
Cheers, guys.
See you. Bye.
Bye-bye.
Michael Vaughan, please follow him everywhere. He's on Twitter. He's on CrickBuzz. A lot of fun stuff there. So please follow on Twitter and be nice. Yeah, this is a nice, civilized, good conversation. And also everybody in chat. Yeah, good job, guys. Everybody was so like human.
Nice.
Very nice. Yeah, very nice people. Thank you
अब
so
हम
much.
हिंदी में बात करते हैं, guys. इसी बात की खुशी है मुझे. Just give me like 2 minutes.
I'll just take a few questions which I've ignored.
Sure.
So I'll take a few questions, and Angad and we will continue for at least the next 25 minutes. So keep tuning in, keep your questions going. Sorry I couldn't take all the super chats, but you have barely about an hour with most guests, and I try and get as many as I can. So thanks a lot for your patience. I'm going to try and take as many chats as I can. Prasad, we took your question. So Susmeet Takavekar had asked a question. How you used to deal with Aussie sledging his ashes still relevant for both sides? Players or lost its importance? I mean, I'll answer on his behalf all of these questions, which is that Dude, Ashes is like, I don't think it's lost any relevance at all, man. It's still arguably, I think now India, Australia has probably replaced it as the most watched and excitable series in cricket. But Ashes comes a close second. Both of those involving Australia, which is quite interesting. Dhruv Bhatia had a question about how did it feel to get out-handle the ball. Also love Mr. Vaughan on CricBuzz. Thanks for your question, man. That was one of my questions. But as you said, I will bring him on back again, and I'll get a question asked that time. Dhruv, feel free to ask it then again. Thompson De Cruz says England has a two-captain strategy. Should India also have it? Given that T20 World Cup is coming up and Rohit has IPL multiple wins. Dude, I don't think Kohli is going to give up the T20 captaincy because the World Cup is coming up. Like, I think he wants to be the guy in that place. So yeah, I sincerely doubt he's going to give up the captaincy for anyone right now. Maybe I think and Kohli is far too intense and too focused to give up any responsibility at any stage. Rajat Shah, my friend, how you doing, man? Says, hey friends, what are the chances of actually getting to watch a Vaughan 11 versus a Jaffer 11? Vaughan 11 versus Jaffer 11. I am talking to Wasim Jaffer. He came on Jared Kimber's show, and I'm sure he'll come on mine soon. I will DM him again, and I'm sure he'll pop in. A couple of things before I take the rest of your chats. Angad and me are doing a show on Saturday, which is a recording in Mumbai. Angad, me, Ronak Rajani, and Sonali Thakkar. It's going to be a fun show. Tickets are on sorabpant.com or on Book My Show, wherever you want to get them.
Why don't you post the ticket link and just pin the comment, right?
Yeah, that's true. sorabpant.com for tickets. Also,
I thought you will be using OBS today, Sorabh. I'm kind of disappointed you're back to Zoom.
The OBS is just not my bag. Actually, the OBS, I think the other laptop sucks. That's the main problem.
Which laptop did you end up buying?
Let's not say, because I might get brand sponsorship from them.
Did you take a tech consultation from Azim?
Yes, I did. I bought it.
Then it's a good laptop. You are the problem.
No. The webcam stopped working in 3 days, and then that particular company refused to answer their phone for like a month, and refused to respond. Yeah. So again, Hyderabad is this Saturday is Mumbai. Next week is going to be Hyderabad, and then consequently after that, I'm coming to Bangalore once again. Okay, so let's take these forward. Harsh Menda asks a question. तू कहाँ shows कर रहा है? तेरे कहाँ shows चालू है अभी?
अभी तो मैं सिर्फ ये recording वाला ही कर रहा हूँ. उसके बाद I will try to figure out more shows. अभी मैं ज़्यादा travel कर नहीं रहा हूँ.
मैं अभी पुणे में recording की और
how was the Pune
second
show?
अच्छे थे, shows काफी अच्छे थे. But second show there were some issues which I'll discuss with you offline.
Interesting.
हाँ, इतना भी इंटरेस्टिंग नहीं है, बस बेकार.
और guys give 5,000 super chat, then Sorabh will tell it.
हाँ ठीक है, चलो 5,000 दोगे तो चलो ठीक है.
5,000 one person super chat and then.
But it's not going to be worth your money. You will hear the story and go like, इसके लिए 5,000 रुपए दिए, चलो ठीक है. कुल मिला के अगर 5,000 रुपए दोगे तो मैं बताऊंगा. But
कुल मिला के भी अच्छा, you will do it. Okay.
हाँ,
so people start contributing 100 rupees.
9 रुपए, 8 रुपए, चलो. But first show I recorded and the recording was great. And then they were 34 minutes of the first show had sound issues. And I'm like, ये क्या है यार?
Yeah, सबसे irritating है वो चीज़ तो.
It's anyway. हाँ, तो तेरा बस एक show है. हाँ. Let's take this question. Harsh Menda, can the 2005 England Ashes team in their prime win against the current Mumbai Indians team? In what format is the question?
Actually, in T20 is questionable, and my team in Test cricket, I will question that as well. So I think formats ही अलग है जो तुम compare.
Dude, I think they'll win in Test. I think they'll win both. MI will win both.
यार bowling तो अच्छी है Test के हिसाब से. Batting wise is questionable, dude.
है ना अपना कृणाल है, हार्दिक है. अगर इंग्लैंड में जाके खेल रहे हो, if there's a 3-match Test series, okay, between current Mumbai,
I would still question, dude. Pollard doesn't even have the fitness, I think, for Test cricket.
हाँ. ये भी है, that's true.
Right, and Ishan Kishan Sky really haven't played Test cricket. So I think Test cricket compare करना थोड़ा गलत हो जाएगा.
I think Mumbai Indians जीत जाएगी. 2-1 is my verdict. I disagree with Angad. So okay, let's take Prathamesh Pant. Hello, how are you, Mr. Pant? He says Michael Ashes 2005 still the best Test series played till date. Do you think Ben Stokes is not being used correctly? And what's the role of Sam in T20? Sam तो 2 Sam है ना, एक Sam Billings है, एक Sam Curran है. So you need to figure out which Sam you're talking about. There are 2 Sams. But do you think Ashes 2005, dude? I think ये अभी current जो India Australia का series गया, that is my favorite Test series in the last like.
यार India Australia series बहुत अच्छी थी. 2005 Ashes just had a different dimension to it because nobody gave England a chance. Like None of the punters is similar, and that Australian team was very good. Right? It was, I mean, compared to the current Australian team, that Australian team was way better. Obviously, England were playing at home, so that is that advantage. Indian Australia series has a good storyline that India 36 all out हो गया, captain घर जा रहा है, फिर player injured हो रहा है. Obviously, as Indians, we would favor the India-Australia series, but I think the Australia-England series was pretty good, dude. The last over तक matches जा रहे थे यार. It was just amazing at another level.
But I still, from emotional POV, I would 100% put ये.
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
put
yeah.
ये
Without
वाला,
a doubt.
ये India Australia वाला. Then I would put 2005. If I'm talking like the last decade, it would be this. Then Ashes 2005. Dude, you know which series I
Last
actually
decade
really
में
like?
2005 आता नहीं है by the way.
नहीं, last 2 decades ऐसे.
अच्छा, okay.
20 साल हो
Then
जाते
there's
हैं.
also 2001.
That,
But
so
again,
that's
that was
that's literally why I included last 2 decades.
yeah. Okay.
Number 3 would be 2001. And number 4, oddly enough for me, would be Mitchell Johnson in the Ashes. Like, it's one of my favorite cricketing moments of all time. Him just losing it. It's great. Huh?
Okay, if I do a comparison, 2011 World Cup versus India-Australia 2020 series, which one?
India-Australia 2020 series.
World Cup पे भी नहीं है, हाँ?
नहीं, no chance. You like the World Cup more, or?
Yeah, I think I'll pick the World Cup because over there also the Indian team, it's not like we were favorites right from the start and we ended up winning quite easily. We struggled initially. So there was a curve in there as well.
यार पर टेस्ट पता नहीं यार मुझे टेस्ट का कुछ और ही फील आता है यार हर बार अगर कोई टेस्ट टेस्ट सीरीज में जीते लाइक आई फील लाइक इट्स like I don't even care about this WTC final. I'm like ठीक है हारे जीते कुछ फर्क नहीं पड़ता dude, but अगर ड्रॉ हो जाए तो क्या होगा?
I have no idea. I have no idea. I don't think I'm pretty sure they would have figured out some way. हो सकता है शेयर ही होगा ड्रॉ, but I won't get draw. इंग्लैंड में अगर बारिश ना हो तो ड्रॉ नहीं हो रहा है.
पर वही तो बारिश तो हो सकती है ना कभी भी इंग्लैंड में.
हाँ, जून है तो हो सकती है. अभी तो वो भी तो चल रहा है ना, इंडिया ने वेन्यू चेंज करवा दिया.
क्यों?
It was supposed to be Lords and India said कि नहीं, Lords के अंदर ही होटल नहीं है, मतलब ग्राउंड के बिल्कुल बाजू में. So we need a stadium जिसके बाजू में ही है. And then I think it got shifted to Southampton, where India has a way better track record than Lords. So everybody was like, oh, BCCI का पैसा. And I was like, हाँ, जब पैसा है तो हम दिखाएंगे ना फिर. Like whatever it is, obviously. If I have money, guys, I will slap Sorabh. Like that's how it works.
I still love your statement where it's like, if I was BCCI, I would behave exactly like BCCI.
Yeah, obviously.
I love it.
If I was BCCI, I'm not coming on your channel. You would be coming on my channel every day.
Share trophy लोग बोल रहे हैं. सिद्धार्थ सिंह share trophy, साहिल महाजन सिंह super over, दीपक सिंह सिंह joint this thing. Boundary count होगी इसे उत्सव.
Everybody is hoping for another boundary count.
Rahul Sharma says, hey mate, when are we going to see Shardul Thakur being knighted by the Queen? Looks like he has a knack of taking big wickets against England. On. ये hashtag on क्या है Michael Vaughan का? I don't know what the reference is. Is it like
I have
just,
no idea. People have really got riled up because of Michael. Huh? कल तूने वो डाला है, all the tags that we are getting on Twitter and every video is like your bullshit cricketing sense and I'm like शर्म आ रही है तुम्हें? वो बंदा 50 टेस्ट में खेला है, right? 50 टेस्ट में कैप्टन रहा है, sorry, he has played 86 टेस्ट क्रिकेट और तुम ऐसे उस बंदे को बोल रहे हो.
Yeah, and again, like whether it's Dale Steyn or Michael Vaughan, यार opinion है बंदे का, क्या problem है? I'm talking to hardcore Indian fans who sometimes can't see logic, and by that I mean Abhijit Ganguly.
Yeah. Abhijit Ganguly went from पंत को जिंदा नहीं रहना चाहिए to अरे पंत एक ही तो दिल है, कितनी बारी जीतोगे, right? साला गांगुली हट. दूसरे गांगुली की बात कर रहे हैं, वैसे कोई कमेंट्स में मत डालना. Now he's tweeting about Bengal elections, this other Ganguly of ours. Anirudh Panekar, if you're Abhijit Ganguly, if you're here, just want to tell you to FO. मतलब I'm trying to not abuse in these lives nowadays. Anirudh Panekar says, question to Michael. Yeah, so we'll pretend to be Michael. Since all teams don't play each other. Yeah, Mitch. That's my English.
Since all teams don't play each other, there's no set amount of home and away matches that each team plays. Do you think the current WTC format needs a rejig? Arey Baba, this is because of the COVID that this happened, no?
क्या चीज?
His question about the WTC.
नहीं, WTC the format का problem हमेशा रहेगा ही, because England versus Australia will be a 5-match series, right? But West Indies versus Bangladesh is not going to be ever a 5-match series. So that's the problem, right? Some teams want to play each other for longer formats because उसमें पैसा है and it's an interesting series. Like now people are saying India versus Australia should also be a 5-match series.
हाँ,
और वो हो जाएगा तो कोई दिक्कत नहीं है, पैसा ही पैसा मिलना है बोर्ड. So
हाँ.
WTC, the problem is that not every team will end up playing the same number of matches. So I don't know how to figure what is the
एंड में तो
solution for that.
वो एवरेजेस करेंगे ना, जैसे इस साल तो वही हुआ था एवरेजेस के बारे में.
वो तो मजबूरी की वजह से करा था, बट उन्होंने उससे पहले भी कर दिया था. नंबर ऑफ सीरीज दे वर ट्राइंग टू कीप सेम, नंबर ऑफ होम एंड अवे सीरीज, बट द मैचेस में बहुत डिफरेंस एंड फर्क पड़ता है यार. 2 मैचेस वर्सेस 5 मैचेस, देयर इज अ डिफरेंस. इन 5 मैचेस देयर इज अ चांस ऑफ अ कमबैक. 2 मैचेस देयर इज हार्डली एनी. लाइक न्यूजीलैंड जाओ, पहला मैच तुम जेट लैग की वजह से आ जाते हो, दूसरा ऐसा तोड़ देते हैं वो तुम्हें कि तुम वैसे ही हार जाते हो, एंड देन पता चला 120 पॉइंट गए. सो देयर इज अ डिफरेंस.
Yeah.
But I mean, we have a WTC which made all these test series very interesting with another thing riding on them. So I would always prefer a WTC with a weird system, rules, and everything. But I think that's great for Test cricket.
Chaitanya Kirtikar has a very good solution for World Test final if there is a draw. Face off between Sorabh and Angad. I think this is a good idea. I think BCCI or ICC. I don't know if they're the sponsors. Maybe ICICI is the sponsor. हाँ, हम दोनों के बीच में face off हो सकता है. तो what it will be a cricket match की कैसे करें?
हाँ, cricket match ही करना चाहिए. I mean that makes sense. Or a joke off.
Is it an Angad 11 or versus a Sorabh 11? Like how will we do it? Joke off is like Comic Star or CPL. तो उसका कोई point नहीं है. वो तो format हो गया. You have to play cricket.
We have to pick our players from the chat, and then everybody has to fly down to Mumbai, and we have to, go through a bio bubble, and everything has to be sponsored by super chats, and that's how we'll have a tournament.
So, dude, we
dressing room में पूरा time camera रहेगा. We will have live broadcasting of everything, all right. Bathroom में भी लगे होने चाहिए. Nothing will be missed, and then we'll play.
Yeah, and a
it
coach
will be Big Boss edition with cricket, like something like that.
Big Boss cricket. ये करना चाहिए वैसे. ये अच्छा प्लान है. How many people are on board with Angad 11 versus Sorabh 11? I think it's a good idea. Biswa versus Angad today. तेरा मैच है क्या चेस वाला कुछ?
Yeah, आज मैच है. और COB All Stars चल रहा है ना.
ओहो, वाह कैसी तैयारी चल रही है अभी उसकी?
मैं थक गया हूं अब चेस खेल के. I'm done.
But see, the thing is that
Biswa is messaging me कि आज ज्यादा अच्छा मत खेलना. ठीक है, कल से खेल लेना.
क्यों, कल तो जीता?
नहीं, कल से खेल लेना. So I lost against Tanmay, where I thought I should have won it, but खैर वो I don't want to get into Armageddon and it's true. Child is here. And then yesterday against Joel, I thought I would lose 2-0, but I ended up winning one match.
Oh wow!
So that was a shocking. And then it goes into all 3 matches I've gone into basically chess ka super over. I've gone into all 3 matches. Yeah.
Aryan Gupta says, please do check Daniel Alexander today. He's real hit. मैं देखा उसको यार. बोर नहीं होना, क्या टेंशन है?
Daniel Alexander is a troll. Like that person qualifies as a troll, not my.
But he's enjoying himself. Let him enjoy. What's the problem? I have no problem with people trolling. Like क्या करने दो ना life में. What's the big deal?
हाँ, and the thing is, by engaging with them, you are letting them know that this is the right way to go. वो और कर रहा है, उसको पता है, उसको और retweets मिल रहे हैं और comments आ रहे हैं, सब कुछ हो रहा है.
Also, I mean, he's a Sri Lankan cricket journalist, right? And their team is really struggling right now. So, what is the victory in this? Like when if Sangakkara and all were around right now playing, then you'd be like, "हाँ ठीक है." And by the way, I still, one of my favorite cricketers still Kusal Perera. So I will just say that. और अभी जो comeback किया लोग ने बहुत मस्त है. Okay, Rajat Shah has given super chat saying brick wall OP. Thanks, brother. Ashish Mahoor says, how does it feel about the ICC rules which just ruined the bowlers? Do you feel retired players had better records if they had played during this time? क्या ICC rule था which ruined the bowlers? Do you have any idea?
अरे मतलब generally ICC के इतने सारे rules हैं which have always been against the bowlers, right? For example, this ODI में कि हर end से जो ball है वो new ball है.
That way, yeah.
So the ball basically gets old by only 25 overs. Then between the 10 and the 40th over, you can have only 4 fielders outside. So batsmen can attack more between the 10 and the 40 overs. So it always has been again, but I think there was a great article by Akash Chopra, I think Cricinfo, where he talked about how bowlers are the most innovative people on a cricket field. Because there's so many challenges thrown at them that they have to outsmart by bringing in variation, outsmart the batsman basically. And so it's very exciting to see what bowlers, like Bhuvneshwar Kumar, uska pace kam ho raha hai, but bowling kitni zyada improve ho rahi hai. And even with Shardul Thakur, the knuckle ball and cross seam, so it's exciting to see what bowlers are doing these days.
Yeah, but I am honestly like, मुझे तो ये इसमें बहुत मजा आ रहा है. The test matches are now bowler friendly, which I am a fan of. And T20s में like at least like I hate those 200 plus matches in T20. मुझे कुछ मजा नहीं आता देखने में. Like that one T20 which happened where India scored 225 and then England scored 180 something. I'm like क्या है? क्या 400 रन नहीं देखना है मेरे को.
तो तेरे को कितना वाला टेस्ट मैच अच्छा लगता है? मतलब T20 sorry.
T20 like I think 160 is fun. Like in that zone 140 160 के आसपास. At least then there's some contest. Na? Like शुरुआत में कोई swing आएगा or somebody will get some spin. Something at least is required. That I enjoy.
I like the 180. I think T20 format is more about batsmen, and I want to enjoy that. So I like the 180 to 200. Like I will any day take Rahul Tewatia, ensuring that RR chases that 230 ka score over like a 120, 130 wala match.
Yeah, but see, the margin of error is so less, na? Like margin of error is
literally... That's what the fun is about, right? It's so low.
Yeah. Anyway. Okay, brick wall. How does so I think it's there are formats for everybody in this sense. Okay. Funny Krishna says, can you please ask Michael if he would have handled the KP situation better? If yes, how? We already answered that question, funny. So there is that. Ankit Upadhyay, thanks a lot for your super chat, says, love Michael Sir's borderline offensive but really funny humor. Vaughan on Insta going on Sorabh shows says he's a comedian. Let's see if he's funny. I sincerely doubt that this was funny. There were two jokes that I made that didn't really land at all, which is great. One was this amazing joke with this plant, which did not work at all. The other was this,
man. What do you want from Michael? You want him to like applaud?
Yeah, I want him to get up and applaud and say, "I'm giving you Sachin's ball." that I want that memento. That is the only way I will be happy. Oh, that's funny, dude. I didn't see that comment by Vaughan. Yeah, he's fun, dude. I enjoy all of these. I like Ashwin. I like Vaughan. I like all these cricketers who express themselves and have fun.
I really don't think he said something that was so out of line that people have gone. I think it's just becoming follow the herd kind of a thing. Everybody is like, ha, ye bahut zyada bolta hai. And वैसे 5 crore Indians भी बोल रहे होंगे, and that nobody is questioning.
Yeah. Vivek Sharma actually nails it. He says every close game is fun, whether it is 130 or 220. I agree. हाँ, close game मजा आता है. पर वो तेवते वाला तो हाँ, I do. And also like you know what, ये IPL के ना मुझे अचानक वो daydreams आते रहते हैं बीच में, because you were watching it right at the start of the pandemic, where your brain was fried.
Yeah, so it was not really start of the pandemic, but 6 months ago.
Which is like, I think the time when we realized कि भाई ये चलने वाला है. You know what, like till that point you were still like, अरे हो जाएगा अभी परसों. So I think this IPL was Sushant Sharma says, how difficult, easy was it to captain personalities like KP and Freddie? He already answered that. That Freddie answer I thought was very interesting, dude. Yeah. Like he was quiet and all that stuff.
It's very surprising to see. I couldn't imagine Flintoff being quiet at all.
Yeah. But it's like the same thing, right? Like where it's like, as a comedian, right? Off stage, people are like, "Arey, tum chutkola kyun nahi suna rahe?" I'm like, "मैं इंसान हूँ भाई. Like just leave us alone." So it might be the case where that helped him get into the zone or whatever.
Sorabh, please. Off stage also, you're always on. Your button is always on.
That's kind of true, actually. So is yours, man. Tera bhi button on hai. Ankit Menon says, hello, Michael. Hope you had a good day. I think he had a good start to his day. I hope so.
Yeah.
Do you think if MSD has an extraordinarily spectacular IPL season this year, he will be called in for T20 World Cup?
No.
Angad, what do you think?
No. Absolutely not. I think Dhoni is somebody who's like, mera ho gaya time. I'm going to focus on IPL and play these T20 leagues. CSK has been putting out his videos of net session and specifically him getting out. एक video I think छक्कों पे डाला और like there are 3 videos of him getting out to different ballers, Kan Sharma ko, and then there's another pacer. So I think Dhoni is only going to play for CSK. Indian team का जरूरत भी नहीं है, I feel like now. I think the team is moving forward and I think we should be looking to move forward. That's all.
And also, I don't think Dhoni even like wants to be.
Yeah.
We have Rishabh, we have KL, there's enough people now.
We have Ishan Kishan now, right? So we have
Ishan Kishan, dude. Yeah, lots of options. Shubhajit Barik says, would England have been in World Test and Championship finals had they not rotated their best spinners like Dom Bess in the previous Test series? Dude, like I understand the rotation policy to an extent, but like not at the cost of Shardul Thakur being in the Indian side was because of injuries and stuff like that, not because of a rotation policy. Eventually, it worked out for India, but that's because he was in the nets and stuff like that. So I mean, he was still fresh. But
and you know why he was in the nets? Why was he a net baller?
Because of COVID.
Yeah, because bio bubble, so they couldn't get players from Australia, so they had to bring their own players. So there are these advantages. But यार England ने बहुत clear कर दिया था शुरू में ही board ने that they have to rotate players to keep them fresh, because this year England is playing 17 test matches. And then some of the players are playing IPL. There is a T20 World Cup happening. They have to rotate player. And Moeen Ali does not even have a red ball contract. He has a white ball contract. He's 33 years old. England selectors have made it very clear to him that we are not looking at you as a red ball future. We're looking at Dom Best. So वो बंदे को अपने 20 बच्चों के पास घर जाना है यार हफ्ते के लिए, क्या गलत हो गया?
हाँ वो भी है. But also like I think the thing is कि अगर करना है रोटेशन पॉलिसी करनी है तो मतलब पूरी सीरीज के लिए रखो ना. लाइक ऐसा करो कि भाई उसको 4 टेस्ट तू खेलेगा और फिर पूरा ओडीआई तू खेलेगा और पूरा T20 तू खेलेगा, एज अपोज टू कि तू एक टेस्ट खेल फिर तू गायब हो जा फिर तू यहाँ आ फिर तू. आई नो विद मोइन इट वाज द कोविड थिंग,
मैनेजमेंट था, दैट वाज अ बिट
बट विद जॉनी बेस्टो फॉर एग्जांपल आई वाज लाइक हाउ डू यू एक्सपेक्ट दिस गाय, वो अभी श्रीलंका में था, you make him play one test, I mean stay there for one test, then he disappears, then he come, like how do you expect this guy to get good form? Impossible it is.
नहीं, वहां पे उसने दोनों टेस्ट ठीक खेले थे. एंड जॉनी बेस्टो का एक और बात भी था कि आई थिंक दे लैंडेड अप इन बैंगलोर एंड देन बैंगलोर से चेन्नई दे हैड टू गो बाय बस और समथिंग, या कहीं पे लैंड हुए थे, एंड इट वाज लाइक अ 7-hour जर्नी बाय बस. एंड दे weren't allowed to stop anywhere.
Fuck.
Because तुम सुसु कुछ नहीं कर सकते, खाना वाना कुछ नहीं खा सकते, because you are secured.
Shit dude.
We can't risk you getting out. So it's very tough dude. 7 घंटे बस. और I think it was Johnny Bairstow and one more player. So कितनी बातें कर ली होगी उन्होंने परिवार के बारे में.
नहीं तो कहाँ से कहाँ जा रहे थे ये लोग?
I think they landed up in Bangalore. या कहीं से लैंड हुए थे तो चेन्नई जा रहे थे या अहमदाबाद जा रहे होंगे. These were the only 2 places, but it was a 7-hour drive is what I remember.
My God यार, इससे तो अच्छा मतलब किसी से प्लेन ले लो यार, मतलब क्या है ये.
हाँ वो नहीं, 2 बंदों के लिए नहीं करा होगा या जो भी है. And they had to, मतलब they were okay traveling by bus, but the problem was they weren't allowed to stop anywhere.
Okay, we have Iro Gurung who's given Australian dollars ka chat, super chat. In SRH, Bhuvi did help players like Shardul Strathan कौन है? Strahan कोई player है क्या? Or he's just mistyped. Now Natu for national team he was the lead bowler, helped Bumrah etc. for slow ball Yorker etc. Dude, Bhuvneshwar Kumar is India's most underrated important player. Like he is pivotal to India's ODI, T20 and Test match plans. He's a phenomenal player. Like and also very safe catcher. हाँ बोलो.
भास्कर से discussion हो रहा था. I think he has to decide to focus just on white ball cricket because he's becoming very injury prone. He's 31, almost 32 years old. So I think the time has come for him to make that decision. कि मैं red ball खेल ही नहीं रहा even in domestic in order to have a long career in white ball. Because he ended up missing the Australia series as well. So वो अगर हर 2 साल में या 1 साल में injured हो रहा है, that's a concern.
Yeah, that makes sense.
And Shardul never played for Hyderabad, if I'm not wrong.
No, I think he's talking about just generally like
in the team.
I think वो थोड़ा confuse हो गया. Like Strahan, I don't think is a player.
Strengthen तो नहीं होगा क्योंकि वो bowler लिख रहा है, पता नहीं कौन सा.
हाँ, कुछ और ही है. Even I don't know कौन है. Strahan होगा कोई, I don't know. But yeah, Bhuvi is I'm a big fan of Bhuvi, dude. His averages, I was going through the averages, man. It's like ridiculous across a period of time, and also very safe catcher, dude. Like India needs safe catching. Like I mean, this Kohli dropping catches is like giving me a headache now, and it's been going on for a year and a half. और 1.5 साल से चालू है ये सब. तो I'm like, there's obviously some problem, like which I mean, and India is winning, so nobody cares, which is fine. जिताते रहो कोहली, जब तक जीत रहे हो कैच ड्रॉप होने दो, कोई टेंशन नहीं है. Okay, please give a like. We are up to 2,316 likes. Let's try and get it to 3,000 before we are done, and we'll move on. I think Jetre Trivedi says it's Barinder Sran. अच्छा हाँ, वो हो सकता है. सही है. Okay. Utkarsh Mishra says favorite IPL team. कोई है क्या तेरी favorite?
मतलब वही है कि दिल्ली को थोड़ा बहुत सपोर्ट करता रहता हूँ मैं, because एक तो होम टाउन, and then you just feel that team is very young, and it's just एक तो Pant is one of my favorite players. He's part of the team. I enjoy watching. So इसीलिए I support Delhi Capitals. But मतलब मुझे ये है इस साल बस कोई मुंबई ना जीते. Like I don't want Mumbai to win because I feel like if Mumbai doesn't win, it will be a way more exciting IPL. Because like all the teams have to combine and form a strategy to ensure that Mumbai doesn't win. That's how good Mumbai is.
यार मुझे तो I don't know man, I've said this before, I'll say it again. I don't have a favorite IPL team, but again Michael Vaughan की तो favorite Mumbai Indians है. I think he's clarified that multiple
अरे the
times.
team is genuinely very good dude and every year they are improving. Now
हाँ.
they वो bowler का मुझे नाम नहीं याद आ रहा. This South Africa का some bowler they have taken I think for 20
Daniel
lakhs or something.
Sams.
हाँ?
नहीं, not Daniel Sams. The net bowler you're talking about.
मतलब वहां पे हाँ नेट बॉलर होता था. देयर ट्विंस हु यूज्ड टू बॉल एंड उसने बंदे ने विराट कोहली की विकेट ली थी. बोथ लेफ्ट हैंडेड बॉलर्स एंड बैटिंग भी ठीक ठाक कर लेते हैं. एंड दे गॉट पिक्ड एंड एमआई वर फॉलोइंग हिम फॉर 2 years. 2 years वो साउथ अफ्रीका के देख रहे हैं कौन अप एंड कमिंग बॉलर्स हैं, हम किसको ला सकते हैं टीम में. एंड दिस गाय हैज बीन पिक्ड अप एंड एमआई का आया था दैट दे थॉट कि इस बॉलर के लिए बहुत बिडिंग होगी, लड़ाई हो जाएगी. बट वो बेस प्राइस में मिल गया उनको. सो दे स्काउटिंग and the entire management is at a different level altogether. Marco Jensen, yes. Marco Jensen.
अच्छा, no idea. But I think it's also like वो जतिन परांजपे की जो बात हो रही थी 22 yarns पे, he was talking about being a scout and about literally what he just said कि 2-2 साल के लिए 3-3 साल के लिए वो लोग follow करते थे लोगों को, and they also like try and provide them kits and all that kind of stuff just to keep them going. And it is like that is ये documentary होनी चाहिए यार. Like to try and like follow scouts across like 2-3 years and stuff like that to figure out कि कौन है, because in very high chance that you never know like one of them who they pick up will be like a World Cup winner in 3 years or whatever.
MI did, yeah, dude. Bumrah, Pandya brothers, all of them played well for MI, and then they ended up playing well for their क्या कहते हैं for the for India. And there's so many bowlers who were primarily net bowlers, like somebody like Mohammad Siraj. वो हैदराबाद की रणजी टीम में सेलेक्ट नहीं होता था. Bharat Arun saw him bowling, and then when he became the coach of Hyderabad, he was like, वो बुका है मोहम्मद सिराज, उसको लाओ, उसको टीम में डालो. And that is how Siraj got into the Hyderabad team, and then he ended up taking a lot of wickets. So जिस तरह पुलिस के पास इन्फॉर्मर्स होते हैं ना, इन सबको भी इन्फॉर्मर्स चाहिए होते हैं हर डिस्ट्रिक्ट में, जो उनको देख देख के बता सके कौन अच्छी बॉलिंग डाले.
और इसमें भी पुलिस इज लाइक से एमआई एंड देन सीबीआई दूसरी तरफ है who's like CSK, who's like हमारे लीड्स तुझे नहीं देने का, हमारा केस है ये.
Yeah, true.
Stick to our jurisdiction. Okay, Elton Moraz has given Australian $5. Thanks a lot, man. Great chat, lads. And he does this. Went back and watched all your chats while studying for MBA. Keep going strong. All energy from Brisbane. Appreciate it, brother. Thanks a lot. Oh, by the way, I have to say this. Okay, I have to say this. Thanks a lot to everybody on Twitter who basically went out there when I tweeted to Michael Vaughan and told him to please come on the show. It really makes a lot of difference. So next time, if Angad or me, whoever we tweet to somebody, please pile on, because it really proves कि अच्छा कुछ fan base है इन लोग का, and it's an interesting conversation. So big thanks to all of you.
Meaningful conversation.
Yeah, big thanks to all of you who did it. Jatinder Singh has given US $10 and said Sat Shri Akal. Thank you, brother. आपको भी.
Sat Shri Akal, buddy.
हाँ. ठीक है. और कौन सा है? Akshay Nathu has said, who's your favorite commentator, broadcaster, Michael? ये तो I think he ignored the question for intentional reasons. I don't think he can say it.
I mean, I'm sure he can take names. Who is currently your favorite broadcaster?
Dude, I like the thing is that people need to understand the difference between an analyst social media avatar and their analysis avatar. Like in that case, like Akash Chopra as a commentator is trying to be entertaining, right? But his analysis is genuinely great. And that applies to even Michael Vaughan. It applies to quite a few people, man. कोई ऐसा एक specific नहीं है. I really enjoy in commentary. I really always enjoyed Nehra and Sehwag, and I like VVS Lakshman also. तेरा कौन है?
मेरा current favorite is Graham Swan. I think I can hear him talk for 24 hours straight. I think he's really, really funny, and his analysis are also on point, and he's an entertaining character. And उसकी कहीं ना कहीं पता है हर commentator के साथ दोस्ती है. कुमार वरुण of commentators है वो. He is everybody's best friend, and he knows how to talk to them. And वो जब भी होता है बहुत मजा आता है. Him and Harsha Bhogle together, so it's just a treat to hear. That's it.
Yeah. Okay, Swadhin says, I want a book Art of Trolling by Michael Vaughan. I think ये तो सारे cricket commentators को मिलके मतलब हो सकता है यार. Michael Vaughan, Akash Chopra, Graham Swan. Like Graham Swan gets trolled by British.
I think in this job you're gonna get trolled forever. अब तो after our last stream, even Bhaskar has got a lot of trolling, dude. उसको Instagram पे DM पे hate messages आ रहे हैं.
किस चीज के लिए?
because he said that he didn't like Kohli's captaincy in the first ODI. And he's getting like abuses and गालियां and you मतलब मुझे सुबह सुबह मैसेज आ रहा है कि भाई इतनी गाली तो मिला के जिंदगी में नहीं मिली है जितनी मुझे लास्ट 12 घंटे में मिली।
हाँ यही होगा। अच्छा हुआ भास्कर को एटलीस्ट इंट्रोडक्शन मिला इन चीजों का कि भाई ऐसा ही होता है हमारी लाइफ में। Okay. Akshay Bagrecha says thoughts on Alex Hales in England setup for World T20. Highly unlikely, dude. I think also उसके साथ there's been other disciplinary issues apparently, no?
हाँ वो I think Morgan का वहीं पे उससे trust lose हो गया। Though great batsman, I'm surprised nobody picked him for during IPL. वो खेल नहीं रहा है, but dude, what a treat to watch in BBL and all the other sports. And it just shows, right? You might be a great talent, but अगर नशे करने हैं तो थोड़ी दिक्कत आ जाएगी अब।
What a subtle way. अगर नशे करने हैं Anshu Kamal also wants Michael want to write a book on trolling. That's a good thing. And this question, which is asked by Rakesh Kulkarni. Love the banter, Michael. Love it how you bait the Indian audience with your tweets and comments. How much of it is intentional, though? Dude, I'm sure a lot of it is like obviously just him screwing around and having fun. I think he clarified this already. But he says that he believes everything he says. So there's that.
He just found a funny way to say it, I mean. And that's why you are also following him, right? If he says it in a dull way, nobody's going to follow him.
Okay. Praneeth Siram says, hello, Michael. Do you see reliance on data and matchups instead of instincts as a good thing for cricket, or is it just complicating the game? I doubt it's complicating the game. I'll just take through a couple of these very quickly because I doubt it's complicating the game, man. It seems to be like, dude, like if you have one flaw in your batting technique or bowling technique, it'll be exposed in 2 weeks. Like you have to keep updating it, which I find very interesting. Abhi kaun out hua yaar? Joss Butler right now. Dono bar he's been LBW in both matches, and it's obviously India going through some analytics and going like, ki bhai ye chalega. And I'm sure other people are also going to target him the same way when
it's going to happen in cricket, dude. I mean, you saw the entire Kutti story and how the team management planned against Australia, dude. You're not going to win against great teams if you're not going to do analysis and strategy.
Yeah. Okay. Preetam Sarma says, hi, Mike. Just wanted to know if you followed club football and which England club you support. Sorry, you couldn't take a question. Angad and we don't follow football at all, so we have no idea.
I follow football a lot, man. What was the question? Sorry.
Which team do you support? EPL mein?
All teams sucks in football. All right. Follow only cricket, guys.
Nice. Harkirat Singh says, hey, Michael, why historically there's no buzz about up-and-coming young English batsmen in cricket circles? Is there anyone we should look out for? Sorry, couldn't take a question.
So I think there's a lot of buzz when it comes to England, journals and print media. And wahan par, like, if you look at their county cricket, dude, even on wo YouTube live pe kar rahe the, all their, their county matches, the 4-day matches. And there was a decent watching on it, too. It might be all Indians, you never know. Yeah, but they support their so-called जो उनकी county team होती है या अपने यहाँ Ranji team है, they support them very strongly, dude.
Nice. Okay, so we have Iro Gurong who says, I mean Siraj. Oh, he was talking about Siraj all along. When he was talking about ki Bhuvi is mentoring all these people. Okay. He's saying, I'm from Nepal, brought up in Shillong and currently in Sydney, so I have played most of sports, but I will lend up for you, Sora versus Angad. Oh, so he'll pay money for Sorabh versus Angad. Good plan. Done, man. And also, what a guy, man. He's been everywhere, this dude. He's traveled, lived a more full life than both of us. Good job, man.
Though I was born in Libya, man, so even I have lived a life.
Oh, yeah, of course. You forgot about your Libya plan, man. Yeah. Swadheen says, good job. Thanks a lot for your super chat. Really nice of you. Kish says, how high do you think Triscothick could have been without the mental health issues? For me, he was as good as, say, a Matthew Hayden. I mean, I don't know how to answer that question, man. Do you know how to answer that question?
No, I really don't know, man. Maybe he was, maybe, I don't know. But I am happy he took the right call for himself. And he played till, I think, 2018 or 19. He played for his county. So it's not like he stopped playing cricket. But he played in the manner he wanted to play, right? That's it.
Yeah. Okay, just a couple of things also to announce that please subscribe to the second channel that I'm on, because all, or most lives at least, will sort of switch to the second channel, because I'm going to be using this channel to release a lot of stand-up over the next few months. So please subscribe. I put the link right there. Please go ahead and do it. Arvind Jonal Gada says, isn't English ex-players going Aussie way of cross-questioning India way of playing? like David Lloyd recently on Virat. David Lloyd ने क्या बोला? Do you know any
I have
idea?
no idea. No idea.
Wait, let me check what David Lloyd. I don't know what he said. Lloyd, Virat Kohli.
I
Yeah,
like
but
how
also
in chat there is a Bhaskar Trivedi who is acting like he is my Bhaskar.
मतलब क्यों क्या हुआ?
He's like, yeah, thank you, chat. Thank you for supporting me. Thank you, chat.
Yeah, it's like really.
I love Indians, man. We figure out a way.
Okay, so David Lloyd says slammed India skipper Virat Kohli for taking a stand against the umpire's call, saying Kohli also suggested England were pressurizing umpires to give the soft signal as out when David Malan took a low catch in the 420. Firstly, the soft signal is there to leave as much authority as possible with the on-field umpires, and I don't know if England put pressure on Nitin Menon in Ahmedabad, but I do know one thing. Kohli has been pressuring, disrespecting and remonstrating with umpires throughout this tour.
यार मुझे तीसरे वाले शब्द का मतलब भी नहीं पता है.
Remonstrating, it's the same शब्द only. Remonstrating मतलब like same ही है roughly. Also came down heavily to ICC for failing to handle the on-field altercations between the players in a strict manner. What do you think?
Kohli has been aggressive, I think, with umpires. और नितिन मेनन से तो उसको I think वो मलिंगा वाला नो बॉल का दुख अभी तक है. जब मलिंगा का नो बॉल था नितिन मेनन ने दिया नहीं था. So Kohli, I think, is just being Kohli. I think he didn't imply that England were pressurizing umpires to give a soft signal. What he implied was that Malan would have ideally known कि ball लग गया है. And the problem is that वो मैं Michael को भी बोला जाता था that this game is sort of gentleman's game ना. तो जो fielder बोलता है वो umpire को मानना पड़ता है. Umpire क्या करेगा? That has been going on like जब cameras नहीं थे तब से ही चल रहा है. तो ठीक है यार, it's David Lloyd's opinion है guys. Why are we getting?
I think the thing that people get this is, and Kohli, who has vast responsibility and influence, should be very careful in what he says and does. तो मैं क्या इसमें क्या बड़ी बात है यार, बोलने दो.
तो मतलब बंदा अपने को एक्सप्रेस ही ना करे क्योंकि मेरे सर पे रिस्पांसिबिलिटी है.
हाँ.
तो तुम्हारे ऊपर है ना, तुम मत बनो उसके जैसे.
Yeah, and also he is थोड़ा like been quite vocal with the umpires recently, and which is always the case for home umpires with home captains. थोड़ा बहुत तो होता है. Yeah.
And कोहली रहता ही ऐसे, मुझे पसंद है डूड ऐसे कोहली का वो एग्रेशन. You don't want a, मतलब ऐसे तो धोनी भी था. धोनी तेरे को ध्यान होगा सीएसके वाले मैच में वो मैदान में आ गया था यार आउट होने के बाद. Because he couldn't understand क्या चल रहा है फील्ड पर क्या नहीं चल रहा है. वो थोड़ा ज्यादा था फील्ड पे आना. But I like the fact कि our captains are now aggressive dude. नहीं चाहिए.
Smriti Kannan says, come on, he is an aggressive player. Nobody had a problem when Ricky Ponting used to do the same. Well, I think they did.
People had problem when Ricky Ponting also did.
Yeah, very much they did. They had lots of problems when he did. But that's the thing. That's what I'm saying. And hi, Smriti. Thanks a lot. You're very, very nice person on Twitter. Really appreciate it. But I think people did have a question, have a problem in then. Yeah. End में क्या होता है कि like if you're a dominating side, the reason you're dominating is because of some form of aggression. So there will be people complaining, and that's well within their rights.
मुझे वो बटलर और विराट का क्या हुआ था वो समझ में नहीं आया क्योंकि बटलर आउट हो गया था. एंड फिर पता नहीं उन दोनों में क्या बहस हो गई और विराट ऐसा गिव अप भी नहीं करता है. उसको ये भी नहीं है कि चल आउट हो गया, वो जा रहा है उसके पीछे भी जाता रहेगा. क्या बोला तू, नहीं क्या बोला भाई को, क्या बोला तू. सो वहां मुझे समझ में नहीं आया कि क्या हुआ.
या लाइक वो दैट सिराज के साथ क्या हुआ था? व्हाट इज द अल्टरकेशन अभी?
सिराज तो नहीं था ना, इसका बटलर का हुआ था
अभी रिसेंटली. somebody sledged Ben Stokes and Siraj. वो टेस्ट मैच में जो हुआ था, and then Virat Kohli intervened and started. He's like मैं तेरे लिए बोलता हूँ. Like I like that. And Ben Stokes would have done the same thing, so it's all good. I like it. I don't agree with David Lloyd that you should take action against players who are whatever. करने दो यार थोड़ा बहुत.
अरे ले लो यार 10% पैसा और ले लो यार.
हाँ क्या बड़ी बात. Rajat Bhandari says for Ashes in addition to Archer and Anderson, would you play Broad or Woods / Stone who have raw pace and bounce? I think they're going to mix it up. I think ideally what they're going to have is Archer and Anderson.
Archer तो injured है, तो Archer तो क्या?
नहीं, Ashes की बात कर रही है.
Oh, Ashes, okay. हाँ, Ashes I think will be Anderson, Broad and Archer.
Yeah,
and Wood will be their first picks.
Yeah. Rahul Nuthaki says, Michael, thoughts on the 100? Are you excited about the format? Honest thoughts, please. I like the format of the 100 actually. You know the last over thing ना?
क्या चीज?
तो पहले 15 ओवर डालेंगे 6 बॉल के और फिर लास्ट ओवर जो 16 ओवर है there'll be 10 balls. Yeah. And I'm like, that's quite interesting. Like, can you imagine an Archer or whatever bowling 10 balls in the last? Like, that would be interesting to see कि कैसे जाएगा.
हाँ, मुझे ये नहीं पता इस फॉर्मेट की कितनी जरूरत पड़ रही थी कि तुम 120 से 100 बॉल गए हो.
हाँ.
So it will be interesting to see कि कैसा रहता है response. What I like though is कि they are doing the men 100 and the women 100 together. So it's not like पहले 4 साल men 100 करेंगे वो चलेगा तो women 100 करेंगे. You know? हाँ, BCCI, हाँ, please, हाँ, do something.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I'm going to get through all the super chats, by the way. Rajat Bhandari says, sorry, I mistakenly mentioned please in place of play in my earlier super. I corrected you, don't worry. Rajat Bhandari says, by the way, the Sorabh Angad Super Show, please continue bringing guests. Thank you for this. करते रहेंगे यार अपन लोग. Angad के Baby Over पे भी जाके subscribe कर लो. His link is right up there. And you can just search for YouTube Baby Over. A lot of fun analysis and interesting stuff. And also, please check out Angad's cricket quizzes, man. बहुत मजा आता है. It's a lot of fun. So please.
And also now I have started membership, guys. So subscribe भी करो और member भी बन जाओ.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Swadeen says, why stand-up comedians are not coming to Odisha? आएंगे ना भाई. अभी भुवनेश्वर प्लान है मेरा. अभी I think maybe next to next month. Let's wait for a few more people to get vaccinated and all that stuff. तेरा कोई प्लान है क्या भुवनेश्वर या कहीं ओडिशा?
मुझे तो actually the problem is I don't know about you, I don't end up selling a lot of tickets. So I feel like if we can crack a format where for people from Bhubaneswar I do a Zoom show, that's a great way. It's a win-win, I think, for both the places. I mean, that's one of the positives of Zoom show, right? You can suddenly see Bilba performing while you are at home.
Yeah. You saw ऐसा कुछ था क्या?
Bilba ने करा perform, मैंने नहीं देखा because it was very early in the morning. So I think there's a benefit if we can crack a way that you are in Guwahati and you can watch Angad. It becomes way better too.
Yeah.
I don't mind Zoom shows. Obviously, live shows are way better, but I don't mind Zoom shows for a discounted price. You can hear the jokes. You might not get the full performance.
Yeah, so I did a few shows on Zoom, right? Which like we all did, like some 80 odd shows I did on Zoom. And then I started doing live stand-up, and then I just can't bring myself to do Zoom anymore. I mean, I'm doing it for corporate shows and all, but like the live show thing, like, मैं literally मैं दिल्ली
But imagine you have to travel to a city where I'll go over there. I will not end up selling a lot of tickets, but there are like 50 fans of yours who want to watch you. Doesn't it make sense to do a Zoom show then?
No, I would still have 55. I would perform for 50 fans in Bhubaneswar. I'll make like a small amount of money, but I'll like just the joy. And again, the thing is, like, so right now I've realized the format is, if you're going to a city, you can't do one show. There is no point anymore. Like unless somebody's paying you for a corporate or whatever it is. Like, so right now in Bangalore, I will have a corporate show shortly. So for that, I'm going for one day with full COVID testing. Just want to clarify that. But if I like right now, I did Delhi, Gurgaon and Chandigarh. Because I'm like, यार दिल्ली जाके फिर एक ही शो करना वापस आ जाना. First of all, it makes no financial sense, and second of all, you're putting yourself in that situation. So I make sure that I'm in the same hotel. So Bangalore, for example, 24th, 25th, I'm doing 2 shows, and I'm just going to stay in the same hotel and then maybe do a trial show before and all that stuff as well, just to whatever. So I enjoy it anyway. Anirudh Panika says, hey Sorabh, why not get fellow YouTuber R. Ashwin on your channel one day? I will. I'm literally going to tweet to Ashwin immediately after this. So please join me in tweeting to Ashwin, who I'm a massive fan of, and completely got to get him on. Maybe Kutti stories with him. Vinayak K says, Angad OP, Pant OP. Thanks a lot, brother. Really appreciate it. Or brotheress, whatever you may be. I don't know. Vinayak. Jatinder Singh, chalo, we've covered every single super chat that exists. Once again, Iro Gurong, thanks a lot for your last super chat. Really nice of you. Thanks for everybody who tuned in, man. Really nice of you. And please subscribe to this channel, subscribe to the other channel as well, and keep coming back. Next week we should have, I think, Anubhav Pal just messaged me. So next week, I think we should have Anubhav Pal one of the days. Khan Masti should happen. Cricket chats will continue constantly. So please keep coming back for those, and subscribe to the channel, like it. Angad, what's coming up? Please tell us anything you'd like to play.
Saturday go show with you. Subscribe to Baby Over, and somebody in chat, please teach Sorabh Pant how to use OBS. Please.
It's a good plug. Mera wohi hai. I've already given a subscribe.
I saw your meltdown. And you're like, your trackpad of Windows, and I'm like, just buy a Bluetooth mouse, Sorabh.
I have. So you know what I was looking for? I was looking for, right now everything's moving. I was looking for a USB combination wala, which I finally got. So yeah, it's done. So subscribe to this channel, subscribe to the second channel. This Saturday, Angad, me, Ronak, and Sonali are together in Habitat, which will be a fun show. Next week is...
They're doing 2 shows, by the way, guys. 6 p.m. and 8 p.m.
Yeah, 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. I think early bird might be sold out in both.
Early bird is sold out in both shows.
But tickets are much cheaper than usual, and it's a good lineup. So see it. And next week is Hyderabad, and then after that is Bangalore. And I will be announcing, I think, either Ahmedabad or I don't know, whatever. But yeah, that's about it, guys. You were very nice. Thanks a lot for making this happen. I really appreciate you guys mentioning to people कि भाई ऐसा हो रहा है. Vivek Khatri says कभी सुनील पार और तन्मय भट्ट को बुलाओ भाई. Dude, I'm happy to talk to Sunil Pal. Like, I mean, why not? What's the problem? There's no downside. So, karenge. Thanks a lot for everybody tuning in. Angad Singh Ranayal, thanks a lot, brother. Wapis milte hain. And thanks to Michael Vaughan. Follow him everywhere. And please tweet to him saying you enjoyed this and to call him back and keep things going. Yes.
And be nice to people if they have a different opinion, right? Please.